Yeah. Boom shakalaka, mother huggers.
My name is Dane.
Your name is Dane.
Yeah.
And my name is Jared.
Jared. Yeah.
What you sipping on there,
Mm,
Joseph?
I got myself a cup of tea. You got yourself a water there, what?
I got a water and next to it a cup of tea, some rooibos tea.
Okay. Nice. How was your walk? You went for a walk now, eh?
It was just a little quick jaunt around the block, basically.
Okay.
It was only about 20 to 25 minutes, but I was feeling a little bit sleepy before that, and I feel a lot better now, a lot more awake. So it was nice just to get out there and move a little bit.
Yeah. It's amazing how a little bit of light exercise can do that, eh? Just perk you up a bit.
Yeah, just get the blood flowing. And it's kind of interesting outside at the moment. There seems to be a storm building.
Ooh.
So, it's cloudy and it's windy and there's some dark clouds, building. It looks quite ominous, but very interesting, actually.
Yeah.
And I hear that side there's been rain and snow.
Yeah. It's been quite crazy. Like, I was driving in the rain on Sunday morning, and it was it was pretty crazy. Like between windscreen, like my windscreen wipers were going, but you could see for like split seconds after the windscreen wiper had gone, and then it was just water, water, water. Like driving in that was pretty insane. And then like lakes in the road, like yeah, it was quite heavy.
Did you manage to get home safely though?
Oh yeah, not a problem there.
I've had a similar incident where we had to stop the car because like visibility was not even a meter, and it was just like, okay, stop.
Yeah,
it's kind of scary, because you can't see anything. You don't know if there's going to be a guy who's like, I don't know, I got to get somewhere behind you, like. So, but yeah. And snow on the mountains?
Yeah, you can check it actually from where I work. It's like on the, I don't know, 4th or 6th floor or something. And you can check in the distance the mountains around. There's like,
oh, that's beautiful, man.
No,
are you gonna go check it out?
I was keen to, but like
full snowman.
Yeah, I've been told that it's gonna be by the weekend. It's gonna be melted. Yeah. So yeah.
So you rock up there and it's just like brown slush.
Yeah, totally.
You can do a brown slush angel instead of a snow angel.
Yeah. Apparently it's really good for the dams though, because the snow slowly melts and makes its way.
Well, somebody told me the dams are up to 50%, which is like huge improvement. I think when I was there in SA in March, the dams were like, I don't know, getting to like low 20s percent, even a little bit under 20%.
Yeah.
Because that was like really critical, and day zero was still like on everybody's lips. But now, Mother Nature's come in, and looks like things are starting to calm down a little bit as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, it's I was reading earlier today. I think this time last year, like where we currently are this date, we are something like 100% fuller than we were at this time last year. So yeah,
jeez, that's huge.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Like, how's your body feeling at the moment, or has been feeling? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling sprightly?
Pretty good. I've had a few late nights, just out of choice. Like, I don't know, watching shit or whatever. So regarding that, like mental tiredness or alertness, like I'm not at 100% at the moment, but bodily I feel pretty decent, other than every now and then I think I eat a bit much. Like
too much.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I do the same.
could push stop before, but I like flavor. So
I like that. What is it? Mouth feel, like a crunch. Like it doesn't really have to taste that good. Just the crunch or the, like, if you imagine the consistency of a chocolate mousse with like maybe something like a brittle in there. You get that caramel brittle.
Yeah.
So it's that smoothness with the crunch, and I just can't say no. But I overeat with all kinds of things, even if the consistency is not even that appetizing.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
It's just
eyes too big for my stomach.
Nice feeling to like chew and
Stuff
swallow.
yourself.
Yeah, sometimes like if there's like crisps, I'll put the crisps in, and then before I swallow, I just put more in, and like I'll find that like I haven't swallowed yet after putting like 3 mouthfuls or something, and then I'm like, when I swallow, it's like a large amount of crisps, like chewed up crisps. So it's like nice to have it in.
Yeah, with biscuits, I mean, I haven't even finished chewing the first biscuit when I've already got one in my hand, and like I'm planning the third one already, and it's in my mind. I'm gonna have, although I'm like, I shouldn't do this, but there's like this voice that's just like, I can't seem to like ignore it. It's like, have that third one, that fourth one. Just, I think I like that feeling of, there's a little bit of dirtiness, like, oh, I feel like, kind of like I've let myself down, but in a good way.
Yeah.
But not.
Like,
but
treating yourself badly. Like treating yourself badly.
Yeah, but it's like also like a YOLO thing, like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But with that in mind, it's like there is a level of that which is quite valid. Like if you die tomorrow, like why deny yourself the pleasures of today?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
So you need to kind of balance that out. Like,
I know, but like, I don't want to be one of those people, when you I don't want to point fingers or anything, but sometimes you see people and you're like, oh, that's unfortunate. Like, I think if I had that, if I didn't have like a switch, like I'd be one of those people,
What do you mean? Like someone suffering from obesity or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's probably all kinds of different things that play a role with that, because I don't think it could be, other things that are obviously emotions, and then obviously then the biology that's going on there. So
yeah, sometimes it's something that is out of one's control.
So if you die tomorrow, I mean, you could be hedonistic and live like that for today, and then, but there's also probably a good chance that you won't die tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't want to jinx it, touch wood.
Yeah.
What were you watching?
When
you were staying up late?
Last night I watched what's a movie? Ready Player One.
Ooh, Spielberg, hey?
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was enjoyable. It's like when I put it on first, I just like had a quick scan through just to make sure like the quality was decent, regarding like sound and visual, because I don't want to watch it and ruin it by it being bad quality. And it was great. So, but on that scan through, I was like, is this gonna be good? Like, I'm not sure. But then, it was a really enjoyable flick, like really entertaining, and
Can we spoiler alert this? Like, if you don't mind telling me a little bit more about it. I know, because I've seen the trailer. Because I saw the trailer, but, but put a spoiler alert out there. So it's a guy that's based in the future, right? And it's like the world's pretty shit, so he lives in a game.
It's kind of like the premise is, it's the future. The world seems a bit shit. Yeah, you're right. And there's this computer program called the Oasis, which is like a place that people can like put on VR headsets and whatnot and just escape to. And like everyone, or it seems like in this movie, everyone is there in the oasis. They just enjoy it. So like life is kind of like eat, sleep, use the bathroom, and go to the oasis. And like that's
like a role. It's like a role play game.
Yeah. And you can do like multiple things there. It's not just like one thing. There's like racing, or you can go dancing, or just like entertain yourself there. Like movies, you can like live in movies kind of thing. Yeah. But
sounds cool.
Yeah, and then there's a bit of like there's a corporation that wants to like take over that, and yeah, there's a dude that's like up against them, yeah, that sort of thing.
The villain, is that guy? It's that Australian guy. I don't know if you saw Killing Them Softly with Brad Pitt.
No.
Or Animal Kingdom. No, not Animal Kingdom. Yes, I think it's called Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I recognize the dude, but like I'm not sure where from. I haven't really seen him much. So
he's supposed to be like a very well-rated actor. How did his role kind of like? How was it for you? Did he like pull it off, or was he too crazy?
No, he was pretty decent. Yeah, pulled off like the kind of corporate asshole quite well. Yeah.
Yeah. Shit, man, fucking corporate assholes. How's this? Don't know if you, just off the top of my head, I read an article yesterday about a woman in America who, I think it was on a Facebook chat or something, or WhatsApp chat or whatever, and her son is not well at all, and her son was actually in hospital on life support.
Mm-hmm.
And she sent her superior a message saying, "Look here, we need to make it. I can't come in tomorrow because my son's on life support."
Yeah.
And this lady, it turns out she's a lady. She got fired in the end, which I'm not saying is good or bad. I'm just explaining to you the story. This lady, she wrote back like just basically along the lines of, "That's not my problem. Like deal with it. If you don't come in, consider yourself kind of like fired."
Okay.
And, I was thinking to myself, because there's this other thing which I've heard recently from, a friend of mine, a friend of ours, actually. It's also got to do with corporate kind of stuff. And I thought to myself, like, this really sucks, because I don't want to point a finger at this lady who's now gone on and, reacted in this very inappropriate way, because maybe she's also been like brainwashed from this corporate culture where she, because she's like middle management or whatever, she's got also a superior, so she's like probably under pressure, but still, I think like I found like people have lost their, or in this particular moment and in the moment with regards to the person that we both know, I think that people kind of lose their logic, like their normal thinking kind of patterns when they're in like this, because every corporation has a different culture.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, what the hell is going on? Like, stop, take a moment. This lady is telling you that her kids on life support, you can't expect her to come to work, like just breathe, just like take yourself out of this this role for you get workaholics and themselves with the company, they are company kind of thing.
It could be like even that's like the middle management chick that was kind of denying her that, like it could just be like a kind of either a personality type, or she just kind of lacks the
compassion
or empathy for someone in that position. Maybe she doesn't have kids, and like she's not close to her family, so she's just a cold person, and for her the bottom line is instilled from above, like profit is key or whatever. I know I'm just spitballing here, but Like, I'm
No,
not.
definitely. I think you have a fair point, because it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to be how I put it across. I mean, but like, even having said that, maybe this person is in middle management, or she's like moving along this career ladder just because she's like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. We don't know exactly.
Could be she had like a deadline for a target to reach for tomorrow or whatever, and it's like, without that, her life is ruined in her head, or
Like, in her head. That's the thing.
Yeah.
A lot of it's going on in her head. So fair enough.
Yeah. So there's a farm, a kind of what do you call it? Like a nature conservation wildlife farm sanctuary type thing in the Eastern Cape. That I was reading an article just before we started chatting. 3 suspected poachers were mauled to death by a pride of lions. I think it was this morning.
Jeez.
The suspected poachers because they had a heavy firearm with them and an axe, and like this place, they lost 3 rhinos in March already, so they assume it was rhino poachers that were taken out by these lions. Yeah.
So this is like nature getting one back on humans, and also it sounds like, because this rhino poaching thing has been a problem for a long time, and that they haven't really, there's been like chop off the horns or whatever, like poison the horns, or but maybe you could kill 2 birds with one stone, and because lions also need conservation, get a pride of lions to protect your rhinos, basically.
Yeah.
Like, don't feed them much.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a lion that was hunted as well in the past. I think it could be
in Zimbabwe.
Sky the lion.
From that dentist in the States, yeah.
No, this one, because there was that Cecil the lion.
Yes, Cecil. Are we talking about him?
No, there's a more recent one now that it was also luring the lion out with like baiting him or whatever, luring him out of Kruger. But these guys are trying to say that no, it was an old lion with like ground up teeth, like it was time for him to go anyway. But the argument is that these guys just refuse to like prove it by like showing the skin of the lion and like, yeah, you go, like we can prove it. Instead, they're saying like, no, no one has access to it. That you need to be like okayed by the hunter or by the owner of it now. Like,
bullshit.
Yeah, just like smacks of bullshit. Yeah, and like this sky lion, the one that they assume has been killed now. He was like I don't know what you call it, like a patriarch of a pride or whatever, and some of his youngsters have died because he hasn't been around. He's missing, and yeah, one of his offspring died because he wasn't there to like protect him or whatever. Yeah, interesting situations in the lion community. Apparently,
yeah, I don't think it's looking too good.
Yeah,
for them, but yeah, it's sad, but I'm sure there's loads of eco warriors out there, like,
yeah, that's what you gotta like hope
fighting for them, yeah, like, yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
It's a real pity. It's like, it's a real downer actually every time I think about like animals and how screwed they are, yeah, like,
well,
yeah,
it, like, if you look at it like from a larger kind of like point of view, they're getting the short end of the stick now from the humans, right? Like,
yeah,
and humans, like, I know we've spoken about this before, but maybe we can touch on it again. Like I mentioned that humans are a part of nature.
Yeah.
So is this killing off of these lions a natural thing? And is Mother Earth or Gaia, the universe, or whatever you want to call it, does she or it give a fuck about the lions? Like, because even lions, like, they're designed to do certain things, and if they I mean, nature is also cruel, like, we've all seen those lion kills where we're like, oh, that poor wildebeest, like, ooh, who wouldn't want to go out like that, and it's worse with like African hunting dogs who will just they'll go slower than with a lion, because the lion will just take them by the jugular, and the hunting dogs will just eat them while they're still alive. So so nature is cruel. So is this just another kind of like natural thing that is happening? I mean, I know what you're saying. It's like I also feel for these creatures, because they should be taught with they should be appreciated more and treated with respect.
Yeah,
because they are awesome. They're amazing. But I don't know.
Yeah, it would just be a real pity if they all died out because of things like reasons that humans could have prevented. But yeah.
In zoos, surely.
Hey, what?
You mean like in their natural kind of environment? They'll be in zoos, wouldn't they? Or they'll be in like a fridge, like the embryo or gene DNA, so you could always just clone them.
Or movies.
And there'll always be videos of them. There's tons of footage out there. Yeah.
Great. So we could
one with Michael Douglas.
Yeah. But for me, like, my concern would be more like, you rip out a piece of the kind of ecological balance, well, you rip out a piece of that and then like the balance is off. It's like taking a wheel off a car, and then there's going to be a bit of a struggle, and then eventually the things are just going to start falling apart because you eliminating like something that was taking care of something else. Like when they introduce wolves into areas and then rivers start flowing again and all sorts of shit happens, like, wow, that shit's real.
Yeah, I agree. But also there are instances of where people have come in and they've built a city somewhere in like the jungle, and it's no longer a jungle. And most of the animals died.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't handle it. They're like, this, I can't, my food's fucked. I can't get to it. I can't find my mate. I'm just going to go extinct. And they go extinct, or they just perish in that area and they no longer exist. But then again, there's some animals that adapt.
Yeah. Pigeons.
Or rats.
Yeah. Raccoons.
With their little hands.
Yeah.
But then it's like, like a raccoon is not as cool as a lion,
Yeah, but there's like, as I was saying, like the analogy with the car, it's like if you remove certain parts of like the ecology, like if eventually, like, I don't know, if we lose enough forests and shit like that, like that's gonna cause, I don't know, like more CO2 emissions and like less converting into oxygen. It's gonna like raise the temperature. It's all that global warming stuff, and like it's going to make some places dust bowls, and like it's just like a kind of
palm oil.
It's kind of like a lack of respect of our own area. You know, it's like when people just don't care and like throw rubbish in their garden or whatever.
Cigarette butts.
Yeah, yeah, totally. That's
cigarette butts are the worst.
You reckon?
Why do they get like a free pass? Why aren't people up in arms and people throw a cigarette butt on the floor, but with like a packet of chips? People are like, oh, what are you doing? You know, but people with the cigarette butts, they just flick it. They're litter bugs.
I suppose it's a smaller thing.
But you know, that cigarette butt has more toxins in it than, I don't know, like a much larger, let's say, I don't know, McDonald's hamburger wrapper or whatever, you know? There's like, let's say, like if a kid had to suck on the McDonald's hamburger wrapper. Well, I'm dealing with this, you know, because I got a kid who's walking around and he's picking up things to put in his mouth.
Yeah.
So if he sucks on like a cigarette butt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. It's like way filthier. Yeah.
But like it was just today where I just saw this woman like nonchalantly just like flick her cigarette butts like out of her car window. And then I thought to myself, fuck. You know, there was a moment of hesitation where I thought, it was very brief. It wasn't, it was like a split second. I was like, I'm going to turn my bike around, make a scene, pick up that butt and like flick it back in her car and say, hey, you lost something, bitch. And then I was like, no, I don't want to like put her out, you know, like, I don't want to be that guy.
What about just, I mean, if you have the opportunity, just saying something is fine. I mean, you and her are equals. You don't have to fear her or anything. And like, she will respond negatively, most probably, because most people are very defensive when a stranger like calls them out on something. But you could just plant that seed of like, hey, I saw that that was cuck, you know, that was,
and cool. I could contribute that way.
And you just like, you know, don't do that. It's dirty. The end.
Yeah, I'll do that next time. Like it's gonna because usually I avoid conflict.
Yeah.
Although it's the spice of life, man. You know, conflict.
Yeah.
But I will next time I see that I'll you know muster up the courage to have a word with the person, and then I'll tell you about it, how it went.
Sweet. Yeah. I mean, me being a long-time smoker, I've been guilty of cigarette butts, but like I've also...
Shame on you. Shame on you.
Shame on my face and shoulders. But I've also now got like this, like I became aware of it, like conscious of that. And I got this little like bottle that I keep in the car and pop it in the bottle, you know, it's like made for cigarette butts, and you kind of can make the efforts if you want to.
But getting back to the lions, like the lions are dying, yes, okay, but I mean, I'm not living here. Like it's not a part of my. You know, I agree with you because the ecology is then disturbed and things kind of like decline. But I know it sounds a little bit arrogant for me to say this, but I don't really know how I would go about dealing with that problem, like right now where I am, you know? Like, and if it is in my mind, you know, like, because you were saying it is a downer, and I agree with you, it is a downer. If it is in my mind, it's going to down me out.
Yeah.
So maybe this isn't the right way to deal with it. I would prefer to just let it kind of like float past me, you know, that whole
or avoid it,
like situation. Yeah, just like, well, okay, and then which I mean, yeah, like I said, I like to avoid conflict, but I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Like, could you understand like something like that?
I am the same, and sometimes I'll, for a while, turn off my kind of receptors to any bad news, like downer news, because, like, I mean, all news is just like, hey, this is dead, this is fucked. Like, they're just telling you like the worst shit. That's what news seems to be. It's like, unless you go and seek good news at like goodnews.com or whatever, you know, or if that exists, like positive things, most news is going to be negative, and that is just like the nature of journalism, I guess, or current media. But just what you were saying um, about like not letting it affect you and like your current, like, what can you do kind of thing. Like, I've thought about like considering, like, if it is just like mother nature, like we're just part of the whole natural order of things, we're humans, and this is how it's meant to go, or like destined to go, because there is no other way it could go. Like, humans just go on and on until they eventually eat everything and destroy themselves and potentially die out to a large percentage, because, you know, the cancer just eventually eats itself, referring to people as like some kind of cancerous thing. And if you accept that, then it's like, you could say, you could almost look at it selfishly and be like, well, I'm okay if the lions and all nature dies out in my lifetime. Like, I'll be all right until I die. Hopefully my son or my kids will be all right in their lifetime. Yeah, and if it like fucks out after that, then maybe that's how it's meant to be, and people can deal with it when they have to deal with it. I mean, that's a way of looking at it. It's pretty selfish and maybe short-sighted as well, and not preparing for any kind of longevity. But I don't know, that's a way. Like, if you have no power to do anything, like, and you just leave it up to the eco warriors, like, I don't know. Maybe you'll have a fine life, like in your kind of space, you know?
Well, you know, I think it's important also to mention what you said about the media, because I think it is connected. And you know, you would think that news is something that happened somewhere, which somebody has now brought or documented or reported on, and is now taking that, what happened, and letting other people know about it. Simple as that. But actually it's not, because, you know, like you said, it's not that. It's going to be, it's got to be bad, it's got to grab your attention, you know. So I think it's linked to humans instinct, you know, like we fear certain things.
Yeah.
So let's take, for example, a nuclear holocaust. Like, that's not really our generation, it was a few generations before us, but that was a real fear that was going on these people, you know, like they really feared that the world was going to end because somebody was going to press a button and like the A-bombs were going to just nuke everybody into like dust. And, you know, our fear would be something else. But I just want to make the point that the media, like, I think its intentions on coming from the best of places, and that's their business, you know. That's like I can't call them out on that, because that's how they make money. That's how they sell their content, is by gaining or attracting the attention of their consumers through these headlines. But if you had to take the statistics, Dan, and I put it to you, you may agree or disagree. If you had to take the statistics, the world, I mean, things are, the things are also wrong. Take the lions, for example, but the world in general has gotten a lot better as opposed to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago.
Definitely, yeah.
So, there are advances taking place which you never hear about. And the reason you don't hear about it is because it's not something that you instinctively kind of like are attracted to, like you're just like, cool. But if it's like toxic rats kill aged man who is then struck by lightning or whatever. That's like a headline where you can be like, whoa, what is that? But it kind of like, it distracts one from actually all the good shit is happening out there.
Yeah.
Like, like more, just one thing, for example, the amount of women or girls that have gotten a primary or tertiary education has improved drastically from 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's not only good for these women, it's good for the entire community, because through this education, now this woman will not be forced or be dependent on a man, and she would be informed about contraception. She'll be informed about the value of education, and then you'll have the cycle of extreme poverty, which would slowly change just because this lady has gotten herself an education. So it's like knock-on effects that are happening, which is awesome. And like people don't hear enough about these things, but like maybe we're wrong about the lions. Maybe there are kind of like regions or conservation success stories out there with lions.
But yeah, I think there definitely are. But I think recently I've just regarding conservation and endangered animals and whatnot. Like recently I've heard that there's like mass extinctions daily almost of like species that maybe you and I have never heard about, and that seems or sounds scary, but like not bad, but it could just be as I mentioned before, like a natural kind of order or process. Like this is how it goes. But
this is the thing.
Yeah.
And, it does sound scary, but I mean, I think it depends how you process it. It could be. Is it scary? Like, first of all, like what exactly is the facts? And then like, let's say it is scary and it's like, wow, like this is like, I need to be concerned about this. Like how big is that gap? Like from just having like a fact and then that fact becoming concerning for you, like, or for me. Like, because even if I know, like, just take this mass extinction of insects. Let's say, like, first of all, I accept it. I accept the science behind it. And I accept the forecasting or the prognosis of these scientists and how bad this is, for the ecology. And let's say I accept all of this as fact. Now, what do I do with this information? Like, where does this leave me? Does this leave me just being freaked out? Or can I now help the situation, or can I just, what should I do? Because I don't know if there's a point to just sitting there and being freaked out about it. Even if it is like that bad, but I think like, I don't know, maybe it takes a lot for us to just like be pushed to actually do something. It's got to like happen on your front door, basically.
Yeah. Like the other kind of action, to put it, well, it's not really much of action, but slacktivism is like what you can do from where you are, or like supporting some agency or whatever on the front line, financially or
Yes,
through whatever. I suppose that's a way you could assist.
exactly. And that's brilliant. That's a way of like taking this. I think that would alleviate a lot of like like panic, because you'd be like, I am helping. And also like with regards to conservation, I mean, there are companies out there. I'm not too sure how many conservation companies are out there, but I'm sure there are a lot of other companies out there who have conservation as part of their ethos or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're on the stock exchange. So people could buy shares of that particular company, and that way that company will get bigger. And they're, like, I know, obviously, because a lot of people say, hey, down with capitalism, like, but fact is that would make a difference, because if this particular company loves lions, for example, like, this is our thing, like, we make fucking sneakers, and we got like our athletic apparel, and we sell them for like exorbitant amounts of money, but we take like 30% and we put it into lion conservation in Malawi or Zambia or wherever, and our, like, the brand is like lion sneakers or whatever, and it's like, okay, cool. Then you buy the shoes, you get the cool sneakers, you get to help out the lions a little bit. And I think that fear or that panic will be like lifted from one's shoulders. You'd be like, oh, well, interesting. You mentioned that about the lions. These sneakers right here actually are helping the lions. So like, what are you doing about it? Like, there's always a way to help,
Yeah. So I guess doing some kind of doing something could, as you say, alleviate that feeling of like no one's doing anything, because I guess it starts with you. That's how you change your mindset about it, or your feeling of helplessness,
Definitely. And like, I'm sure that helping these lions could be like a few clicks away, probably.
Yeah.
Like, not these lions. I mean, not the ones we're talking about that killed this guy, or these poachers. But I'm sure there are conservation parks out there. I don't know, Kruger National. I'll have to check out their website, but I'm sure it's like not that many clicks away from donating some money to help them.
Yeah, totally.
But then again, it's like, at the end of the day, these animals are going to be only in those parks. There's not going to be any like wild anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, but that's just the way it is.
It's quite interesting. There's leopards still in the wild. There's leopards, very shy beasts, the leopard.
Stealthy.
Yeah, there's leopards that are in areas quite close to cities. Like, I believe
Mumbai.
Mumbai.
It's like, I think it's like, what, 12 million people and like 3,000 leopards or something.
Incredible. And I believe locally as well, in like near Cape Town, there's leopards in some of the hills and stuff like that. So I'm not
Cape leopards.
Yeah, but they exist. It's incredible, and they're still like roaming freely and getting away with it.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, so cool. That's another thing. Like, all the people are going to cities, so I mean, that leaves some open wild spaces, I suppose, for the animals or whatever. But I got to mention this the story to you. I hope you don't mind. Unless there's anything else you'd like to mention on the leopards. I have the story from Germany that's been on my mind. I'd like to share it with you, and I'd like to get your thoughts on it because I find it interesting.
Yeah.
So, are you aware of the Eurovision Song Concert?
Yeah, that like contest thing, right?
Yeah, it's very loud. It's very extravagant. It's like
it's kind of like America's Got Talent, but like Europe.
Very showy, but huge numbers involved. Like millions of people love it, and like very well supported. So anyway, Israel won in the last one. Don't ask me why Israel's in the Eurosong contest, whatever. Australia's also in it. Doesn't matter really. So Israel won it from an artist called Netta. A kind of rotund, jovial-looking young lady. And here in Germany, in one of the newspapers, one of the cartoonists recently drew a sketch which involved the Prime Minister of Israel. And the sketch was, if I could just describe it to you, I sent it to you too, so you know what I'm talking about, just for listeners. Yeah. It's basically just Benjamin Netanyahu holding up like a rocket with the Star of David on it, and he's kind of got like this figure of the winner, this Israeli lady, which was kind of like bigger, and then it's got a little speech bubble, and he's on a stage in the Euro Song Vision contest, and it says, "See you next year in Jerusalem." So this guy who drew the sketch, he's been working for this very well-known newspaper here in Germany for over 30 years, whatever. They decided now, somehow somebody must have put complaints in or whatever. They decided, and now there's been a professor somewhere from some professor somewhere who has actually looked at this, and he has made a decision to describe this piece of work. It's called anti-Semitic.
Okay.
And because of this backlash, this cartoonist got fired. And I spoke to somebody about it, and he was saying that, during the World War II or before World War II, or whatever, there was propaganda, and how the Jews were kind of like made out to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And people were using, a certain caricature of Jewish people.
Yeah.
Hook nose, large ears, kind of like golem-looking kind of people, like non-human,
Yeah.
Now, my question to you is, when you look at this picture, do you see anti-Semitism, or do you just see a cop doing his job and drawing somebody? Like the guy, Netanyahu, he's drawn with a large nose. I think he's got a large nose in real life and larger ears. But that's what a cartoonist does, or a caricaturist does, right?
I say that it looks like a caricature
of a person.
Yeah, and I suppose it's quite a weird one because there's a certain vagueness behind the intent, and I guess that's what people are picking apart, is what was his intent. And if his intention was to be anti-Semitic or anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish, then he's maybe he's pulling that off by having like the Star of David and all that. But maybe these are also just clues to clarify who he is depicting in the image, as a cartoonist would do,
Yeah, like for me, it's definitely it's judging, or it's being slightly anti-Israel. Obviously Israel's in the news a lot, and it's got a lot of criticism how they handle certain situations, with the rocket and everything in this guy's hand,
Deservedly
so it's definitely he's definitely making a statement regarding the state of Israel there, with the rockets. But I can't really pick up the anti-Semitism, because for me, anti-Semitism is not that. You know, I see him as being anti-Israel, yes, but anti-Semitic, that is definitely not it. But I think because this happened in Germany with its history, you know, they're super sensitive to this kind of thing, and this is why they've decided to let this person go, which doesn't really solve the problem, because it's still just everything points in the direction of that we can't actually talk about this. Because it's just super sensitive, although it happened like years ago. And like, obviously there are parallels to South Africa, you know. You know, you had apartheid, and you have things going on even today that are because of that.
Consequences to deal with.
Exactly. And it's just so crazy for me, because this kind of leads into what I wanted to tell you about this, the Black economic empowerment. So please correct me if I'm wrong. Some people are not being promoted in their work because of the color of their skin. Does that sound like a correct step? Or dude, I know I'm getting a little bit serious now with these kind of topics, anti-Semitism and BE. Like, if we don't want to talk about it, we don't have to. I know one must tread carefully, especially considering, you know, like apartheid and everything, and like, you know, there's got to be a certain amount of sensitivity and respect for the past, but at the same time, that shouldn't distort your logic today. You know, there are things where you look at it today and you could say, oh, this is wrong. But now I'm not sure, because there's this law, and the law is in place because this is some kind of like getting people back into you know, the economy thing based on what happened 25 years ago.
It's dude, it's so complicated, and it's a worldwide thing, and it's happening everywhere, and it's not only race based. It could be like gender based. It could be like multiple, like could be ageist. You know, there's whenever you have the ability to group people, you're going to have this problem, and you'll always have that ability because there's variety. Like, there's like people can be slotted into groups, so therefore there might be a point when like we evolve and we don't have ears anymore, but then some people do, and then there's going to be a difference. You know, if everyone's seen the same but now some don't have ears, there's going to be like, we don't hire earless people. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. But the problem,
but that's racist.
Earist. Like, the problem is there will constantly be this, because by not dealing with the problem, by ignoring the past, you're perpetuating the problem. You're not helping the people that have suffered previously. But then by introducing something like BE, you're there are skilled people who are not being given these positions, and the positions are rather going to people that are unskilled or less skilled because of the color of their skin. And then there's some kind of unfairness going on for that dude that's missing out, the skilled dude that's missing out, because he happens to be the same race as like a previous oppressor. So at some point, the oppressed is going to become some form of oppressor, because it's causing discomfort for someone else. And I think it's maybe just the way of the world. Like, it's unless there's some kind of solution around the corner that we just haven't come to yet. But it just, like, I'm just thinking about it now. That's like where my mind just went to. It's like, oh, this is just going to be a fucking cycle. There's no, it'll never end unless we, eliminates like half the population, and then it's like there's enough everything for everyone. Don't worry, everything's fine.
Like, I'm not aware of it, but I think South Africa is one of, maybe there are other countries out there, but I'm talking about countries that are like part of free trade and part of the, let's say, the normal capital kind of like democracy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is normal for the rest of the world. Where in a democracy like South Africa, there would be a piece of legislature that would separate people in this way. And I agree with you 100% where things have to change, and there has to be action in order to change and to rectify certain things.
Yeah,
I believe in that, and I believe that's the way forward. But I disagree with legislature or with change that separates groups of people, because I think that is the definition of racism.
Yeah,
and nobody seems to talk about it. And I think because it is such a messy situation, the people that are being, let's say, important to choose one's words wisely. I don't want to say something. Choose a word that might give people the wrong impression. But I think I just lost my thread. But what I wanted to say was that the people that are being affected now by this legislature negatively, is this a solution? Because especially in a place like South Africa, I would tend to think that this would exacerbate or continue the cycle of anti-Ubuntu, if you will, which is for a place like that, they're just, the wound will not get healed in that way.
Yeah.
And it's fine to say, okay, my father or my father's father caused this. But I'm here now. I'm a human being here now, today. In, let's say, for example, we're in an office. I'm here in this office. I'm a human being. And you are telling me that I won't get promoted because and this is what I'm saying. It is racism just because of the color of my skin. Now, I would say no. Hold on. What do I do about this? Not much. If I had the money and the means and the legal team, I would believe that because of South Africa's beautiful constitution, it would make its way to the High Court, and after being looked at and years of, I don't know, millions of legal fees, somebody would say, hey, hold on, this is legal. This is illegal, what is happening here. But it's never gotten that far because who's got the money to do that?
Yeah, not the guy who's looking for a promotion.
No, not that guy. Because he's just a normal guy looking to live his life in a peaceful way and provide for his family. So, I think it's a difficult subject. Obviously, like it would be nice to, I think, well, this is my way of doing it. I'm putting the point out there on this format, and that's my way of standing up to this, like I feel strongly about it, and I believe that it's wrong, and I think something else needs to be considered.
Yeah.
Whatever that something else is, I don't know, but let's call something black, or well, what's the saying?
Call a spade a spade.
Yeah, let's call a spade a spade. It was like a very inappropriate word to pop out there, but hold on. Let's call it, obviously, the reason why that happened was because on the cards, if you're playing poker, the spade is like the color of...
Yeah, or mixing that with like the pots calling the kettle black or something. I don't know.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what was going through my mind. But let's call a spade spade. Let's call racism when we see it. And that is racism. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I cannot disagree with that. There's, like I said, it's just very complicated, because how do you solve the problem of privilege versus previously disadvantaged due to racism? Like, what is the solution? Maybe there can be like a softer approach to some kind of like economic empowerment, or like there definitely are things, like systemic things that can be put in place that can have a longer term effect, that in 2 or 3 generations time, or maybe even 1 generation, you'll have like a more empowered group of previously disadvantaged people, by giving them some sort of present day privilege, whether that be like really good free education, or accessible education, because education is one of the biggest things here. That kind of education skill, that's privilege. That's like, I had a full belly while studying at school. No problems there. I wasn't cold. I had like brick walls around me and shit while I was doing stuff. So that privilege existed. Like, it wasn't my fault that I got it and someone else didn't, but I had it and they didn't. So that's where the whole, like, how do you solve the problem? But like, yeah, I don't know. It's a very big thing. It's a very big problem.
I know one way how you don't solve the problem. You don't solve the problem, like 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah, but
so
then
you don't exacerbate the problem.
Yeah. Some might argue that like the boat's tilted one way, it needs to tilt the other way before it levels out. But that's a different analogy,
But well, here's an analogy for you. I go to the park here, play park, with little kids. I take my son there and he goes and plays on the whatever they have there. So I observe a group of kids mistreating another group of kids. They take away all the toys. They're not allowed to slide down the slide. They're not allowed to go and build a sandcastle. They just must be where they're supposed to be, and they're not allowed to leave that particular area. And I'm the adult, and I look at this. And you know what happens? I go up to them. Now, this is what happened here. If you can follow me, I go up to them and say, hold on, you guys. Now, you guys are being wrong. You guys are being really, really wrong. I'm going to take all this stuff now and I'm going to give it to that group. The other, those over there in the corner. And these kids can now they can boss you around and they can tell you what's going on. But that would be terrible for me to do that. I should say to them, look here, kids, hold on, you don't do that. You don't, this is not the way to do it. Let's talk about this. Um, let's figure something out. Like, first of all, why are you treating the other children like that? Like, why? What is the reason? And then let's really get to the reason of it, and then let's respect other people. Let's we all let's teach that to these children, and let's set up this, so they can play together. Come here, you play. That's play together now as a team, and enjoy being together as people. Yeah. I know, probably a really bad analogy, but
I think it's a good analogy. But it just lacks a few of the variables, which are money and housing and things like that. Like it would be great, and like we could all be like, yeah, like we're all South African, we all respect each other. But what if you didn't have what another race had because of your race, because of the past? That's where the problem lies, is that your parents were disadvantaged, so you don't have the privilege of a decent education. So now you're 30 and you're not very literate, like you've never had access to a computer, but like, oh shit, like in order to earn money these days, I need to work a computer. Like, like there's a lot of different variables. It's not just like give you a computer and everything's fine, or give you a house and everything's fine. There's like a lot of like, there's a lot more to it. There's like mental, but psychological shit.
I know
as well.
But hold on now, because like I don't want, I particularly don't want to sound uppity when with what I'm about to say, because considering that I'm and you are there, I don't want to give the impression that you, as you said, like, what do you do with these complications? Like, if I could suggest something, be in the best interest, or I think it would possibly be a good idea for, call a spade, for white people to be more involved in that kind of work, or in that deficit that you mentioned, that because of the past. Like, and you mentioned like what now it's tilted the boat kind of thing, but like I don't see BEE the way it is as it's not enough. And first of all, it's racist, and second of all, it's not enough. And it's been a while now since this hasn't been in place. And if you could let me know if there's been huge improvements, and if all it's all sold everything. I don't think that's enough. I think that things have to, individuals and people must try and contribute and right the wrongs of the past, and share more. But that doesn't necessarily have to be a piece of legislature. It could be kind of like just a movement or something, so
if
it's easy to wait on the government and be like, yeah, what am I supposed to do, but I think there's a lot one could do. Or am I just talking shit?
As what you mean, as like an individual? Like what do you reckon, if you wanted to do something here, what would you do as an individual?
Well, like I said, I mean, I'm not there, so I'm here now, so I have to figure out something that I can.
If you were here though, like, but you got your day to day, you got your you're working 9 till 5, Monday to Friday. You get tired, you want to do shit as well in your own time. What are you going to do that could better the situation in your personal capacity? I'm just asking, like, would you recommend like just contributing some money to some kind of help cause?
Well, that's what I think. That's what something. I think exactly. I think that's something that could very easily do from this side. I think if I was living in South Africa, I don't, and I think it would be something as simple as if I'm working with people that are, and I'm not talking about just handouts. I'm talking about trying to get more involved and more aware of people from previously disadvantaged backgrounds, of what their problem is, and trying to help out that way, even if it means a small thing like I don't know, giving somebody a lift, whatever, providing advice, inviting somebody for dinner, bringing exchanging recipes. I'm not talking about big. I'm talking about being more aware and trying to be more involved, in the spirit of Ubuntu kind of thing. Like just small things like, hey, talking to people.
Yeah, totally.
Just like, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do that every day. Like
yeah, that's brilliant.
A very is the right word, like integrated? Like there's
the Rainbow Nation.
Yeah, that exists, and like you see it when like there's something to celebrate, like as a nation. But I guess it's just another, not only, but like the media doesn't help, and the kind of loudspeakers or podiums that they're giving to guys that don't have the best intentions for Ubuntu, coming together and all that, like people that have more to gain from getting the masses, which are like previously disadvantaged people, to hate and to want to take away from people that they consider privileged. The media gives a voice to those people, and perhaps if there was more focus on the spirit of Ubuntu, like in the media, and the more positive messages that come from people that have the best interests of everyone in mind, like that could potentially change like the psychology of an entire nation. Like someone like Mandela comes along and it's like, boom, like look what we can do. And then that passes, and then there's like self-interest at play most of the time these days, it seems like, in positions of leadership. Like you can't blame the government, but like, I don't know. That's just all I have to say about all that shit. Yeah, maybe you can. Like the government, and like hollow drums make the most noise, and like the people that get the limelight are these empty, fucking vacuous holes of people that are just like wanting to like suck like the spirit out of everything, like these soul eaters. Like where do they come from, and why do they want to like make it so stiff, Yeah,
I know what you're saying, and like it's also, it's a very interesting point that you raise, because who's to say this isn't happening? That's like you said, it's happening on a daily level, and like there has been so much that has been achieved, and like regardless of these policies, and like there's always hope, and I hope that like one day people have also maybe got to like approach it with more humor or whatever, or like it's difficult though if you like, if you've been told that like, sorry, like just because of the color of your skin, but it's so complicated. So like, I think it's early days still, probably, like
probably. I mean,
But like, I still agree. Like, I still just want to say, like, on this format, like, I'm going to call a spade a spade. I find BE racist.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's race based, therefore it's racist. Like,
and I don't have a solution. I mean, I try to, just off the top of my head now, think of something that like small things, kind of thing. Like, but I think, like you said, that it does exist, and like I'm sure that only more of it can come about, and like there's so many. But that's maybe like something that, if you could take one thing away from this podcast, would be to don't listen to the news. Like,
yeah,
like think, like question it maybe, or like,
and maybe be aware that like that the news agenda is about clickbait, and therefore shock factor, and therefore bad news. And just like remember that there is good news out there and good people out there.
Yeah, and there needs to like celebrating those good stories, like people trying to tow an iceberg to Cape Town to relieve the drought situation. I mean,
is that real?
It is real. Which is
an iceberg from like the Arctic or something.
Yeah, from the South Pole.
Isn't that a bit like salty?
No, it's all rainwater, pure water, purest water on earth, apparently. I quote Nick Sloan, the guy behind all of this madness. Okay. He's the guy that salvaged the Costa Cordia, that one that crazy Italian skipper crashed off the coast of that cruise line off the coast of Italy.
Okay.
And this guy's like crazy engineer genius. And now he's like, yeah, the way he, like, just the thought of it for me was like, what? That makes perfect sense. There's no water there. So he's like, oh, well, where is water? Where's the closest water? Oh, it's there. Oh, we'll just take and it's beautifully packaged for us already in this giant like ice block. We just like take it to Cape Town and people can drink it and it'll be awesome.
Like, yeah, like what is the size of it? How big is the iceberg in question? And is it really desalinated? Is it fresh? Like,
yes, I believe so. I believe it's the freshest water, purest water on Earth.
Okay. Wow.
It's the size of I think it was I think it's like 1 square kilometer, or maybe like 2 across.
Oh wow.
Or something like it's big, so it's a big operation and there's lots of like technicalities involved, but he's got it all worked out on a nice little PowerPoint, so
if there's a presentation, then it's solid.
Yeah, it's like
if it's
sold.
A couple of graphs in there.
Yeah, he's got some jargon going on, like nobody, what that word, don't understand it, but it just looks nice.
At the end, there'll definitely be some iceberg play on words, like.
So, there's good stories coming out of SA. I mean, like, it was just something I had to get off my chest. Thanks for listening to me, Dane, and helping me get that off my chest. I feel a lot better now.
Yeah, cool. Like, I appreciate the conversation always. And thanks for giving me the platform to spew out some of my words,
Yeah, I like that one with the vacuous, the word vacuous. The holes.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like sometimes you just want to like call a vacuous bastard, Like you got to call them out on this shit and like
call a spade a spade.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like call it what it is, It's like
confront that lady with the cigarette butt. Confront her.
Just say, "Hey, lady, that's gross. Like you're disgusting. Stop it." Job done. You know, you're a hero.
I'm going to do it. I feel good about this.
Yeah, but
why should I be?
I think don't throw it back or anything like that. You know,
no, just words.
Or else you crossing into
lines,
physical territory, and it'll be like in the paper tomorrow. It's like man throws lit cigarette at woman's eye, and it's like you're the bad guy.
The power of words.
Yeah.
Here we are using our mouths to form words and communicate with one another on this format.
Flapping our tongues and lips about, making noises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Lady, come right. You are littering. Check yourself. Goodbye.
Euro. Hey.
I feel good about it.
Yeah. Shall we call it, bro?
Yeah, man. Let's outro this motherfucker.
Yeah. I believe we still have a powerful 14 subscribers. Am I right?
Yes, we are. And the numbers look good on Black Panther. They're a lot better than the other episodes for some reason.
Sure. Black Panther.
Over 100 and I believe over 140 views.
Really?
Yes.
Incredible, eh? Who would have thunk it?
I know. I mean, it's the first one that's gone over 100, so.
Incredible.
But I mean, sky's the limit. Let's keep on keeping on.
And we're on a bunch of other platforms as well, right?
We're on Stitcher, we're on Pocket Cast, and we're on Anchor.
Okay.
And
iTunes.
We're not on iTunes at the moment. Just apart from 2 episodes, but yeah, I'd like to I've already told a big fan of ours that I'm going to get the stuff on iTunes, and nice. There is no reason for us not to be on iTunes.
Yeah,
I mean, if there are already 2 episodes on iTunes, then the following 12 or 13 should also go on iTunes.
Totally, and I think Google Music would be a good one as well.
We're on Google Podcasts.
Okay, nice, awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So people can catch us there on the move if they want to. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Type in tanned gents, as in tanned, as in being in the sun, and gents as in gentlemen.
Yeah.
Which we try and live up to that moniker.
Yeah. I stood in the sun for about 3 minutes today.
It's winter that side, so
just got to get that.
But summer this side, so my tan's looking good. So
nice.
I could,
representing.
But nice chatting to you, Dane.
Yeah, dude. It was very enjoyable. Very enjoyable chat.
It was. I took a lot out of it, and I feel good. I felt good going into it. I feel even better now. I hope the feeling's mutual.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, it's definitely uplifting in a way. Yeah. On that note, shall we say cheers, my buddy?
Yo, man. Take it easy out there, guys. If you see somebody littering, or if you're not happy with what's going down, just, use your words and confront that person. I know, conflict is what we're trying to avoid, but you'll feel better afterwards. Trust me.
Yeah. Cool, man. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.